Welcome
From home.
back to the podcast, guys. Episode 53.
53. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year 2024. Season 2 of the podcast.
Season 2.
As everybody knows, we did 52 episodes last year, every single week, uploaded to Chris's channel and all the audio platforms that there
All
is.
those listening platforms out there.
Yep.
How many is there? Do you ever figure out how many there were on? 15
It
or
go,
16 or
I
something?
think it goes out to like 12 or 15 different platforms,
Jeez.
but the main ones are Spotify and Apple.
We're famous.
Yep, famous. Well, what will make us even more famous if
What?
the biggest thing that people could do to move the needle is
Yeah.
drop us some comments on the podcast and your channel.
Right.
Definitely the audio podcast and stuff. But
Yeah. Leave comments what you like,
yeah,
what you don't like. How about some topics you want to hear?
yep,
And just comment
yep.
in
So
general.
starting out, hope everybody had a great Christmas and Happy New Year because we're this will be launched Christmas or New Year's Eve.
Yeah. Got any
So
resolutions?
yeah, I do.
I don't do that.
Nah, I don't do it either. I just go on with things as they are.
Keep on keeping on.
There's no certain time that I try to improve on stuff. I do it every day. You got to make every day good. Um, Today though, we have a cool topic that I think will help people leading into 2024 because this time of year, hunting season starting to wind down, and a lot of people make changes.
Mm,
Like you said, New Year's resolutions. They want to find new hunting property, or
right.
they want to take their property and look at it. Now's a good time to look at it in the winter and see how things are.
Right.
And that's what we're going to talk about today: how to actually evaluate your deer hunting property. And this will not only help you on the property you have now,
Yeah.
but also help
Someone
you.
someone looking for a piece of property.
Leases go out. The big leasing time is like February, March, and April. People are busy looking for leases, and I will be on the hunt as well. So,
Mhm.
what you got to say about that? What can people?
Access, access, access.
Yeah, what can people look for? How can they evaluate their deer hunting property?
Man, I entrance, exits, which way the deer are approaching,
Hmm.
what kind of neighbors you're gonna have.
Ooh, that's a big one.
Oh boy. What kind of browse or browse pressures on the property? We need to break it down. If I name them all now, we're gonna lose it.
Well,
Blow our
something quick.
tops.
Yeah, something quick to talk about too is you made an evaluation on your own hunting property
Oh yeah, for
behind
sure.
your house,
Yeah.
and you made the evaluation that you need more sun.
Yep.
And what'd you do the other day? You went
The
down there
other
and cut some
yep.
trees.
The other day I went down and cut down some trees and those will turn into some firewood. Hopefully,
Hmm.
bring some good sunlight down.
Yeah.
I made the evaluation too that I need to take some more,
Hmm.
but I'm going to need a helping hand. There's a couple that are leaning kind of the wrong way or whatever, and I don't want them to fall that way. So
Hmm.
I'll have to hook onto them with a tractor and have somebody back cut them or something. So yeah,
Well.
there's always something you could be doing
Hmm.
to improve or something that you're looking for in the next piece of property.
Yep.
And hopefully we help you guys out here with a few suggestions. And I think there's someone will glean something out of this.
Well, like you said, you made the evaluation that you need more sun, so and you still need more sun, and but that's something that people can look for. Is I think one of the biggest failures in food plots. Because a lot of people they don't necessarily have like open field to plant food plots because you're taking away crops from the farmer or whatever or space, so they're limited to woods plots. And
Yeah.
one of the biggest fails in that is lack of sun. So if
Hmm.
you're continuously having this problem with your food plots, now is a great time to just cut some trees. I mean,
Yeah.
get over the fear of cutting a tree, and either have somebody do it for you if you don't feel comfortable doing it, but you have to have sunlight. There's no special seed blend
No,
that's gonna grow.
that's the other part of that equation
Yeah.
is how many times do you see what should I plant? What should I plant down there? Oh,
Hmm.
what should I? And that's one of the other failures is planting the wrong blend or the
Mhm.
wrong product. You just can't go into a woods plot with no sun and try to plant a brassica.
It's just not gonna work.
It just isn't going to happen. It's going
Mhm.
to come up an inch and just wilt over and rot.
Yeah.
It's going to be too wet. There's not going to be enough sun.
Mhm.
A couple of different factors there. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to find something that's going to take filtered sunlight,
Mhm.
that might take some standing water if need be, maybe.
Yeah, I learned
Um,
that a long time ago, planting food plots in the woods, because that's what I was limited to. I found out very quickly that the plant grows really tall, and then it just doesn't have it can't develop a strong root system, so it just flops right over.
flop.
And
Yeah.
I get pictures of that throughout the spring and summer from guys just on Instagram or uh, Facebook or something, or say, "Hey, I'm having this problem," and they send me a picture, and the plants are just all laying flat. Say, "Dude, you either got extremely low pH
Mm,
or you're lacking sun, because that the plants need that sun." So that evaluation on your property is key. One thing definitely to look at if you want more forage, a better, healthier food plot, and just overall soil health, you got to
right.
have sun in there.
Yeah, and that also ties over to the guys that don't want to plant a food plot. They're
Hmm.
looking at a block of timber somewhere
Hmm.
and they're thinking they want to buy this or lease it or something. But you walk into this block of timber and you can see 200 yards out in front of you, and
Hmm.
there's nothing on the forest floor but leaves
Not good.
or ferns.
Hmm.
That's not a good idea.
You
I
need
mean,
cuttings.
yeah, that's great. You could shoot a long ways, but you're gonna have to find a deer first to shoot at. And what I
Hmm.
mean by that is, if there's nothing to draw them through that patch of woods, food wise, browse wise, what good is it?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
you're back to cuttings again.
yeah, in that situation where you have like that open timber thing, like a park setting, you'll catch them cruising through, but they won't
Mm,
be spending much time,
no.
unless that for some reason that's like the only safe spot for them to
Yeah, I
stand
mean,
for a while. Or
they might push through there or run
yeah,
through there during the rut.
yeah, but
Someone might put a
yeah,
drive on and they might run,
hmm,
but they're not going to spend a whole lot of time there.
no, and that's what you want. You want the deer to spend time on your property. So if you do have that park effect, tall browse line, no undergrowth, closed canopy forest, one of your best, depending on the type of timber you have, I guess the key to that would be to getting a forester in there and either try to reclaim some trees for some money, or just hiring somebody to go in and cut or do it yourself, but just get the sunlight, just get some logs on the ground and thicken those spots up, make some pockets of thick stuff and whatever it is, but still leave a little bit of open areas to maneuver, around your property to use for access or something, and leave concentrate those deer into the thick stuff.
Hmm.
But you got to have sunlight, and it all is relative to food plots as well. Yes.
For sure.
Hmm.
Yeah, the browse line's important to pay attention to.
Hmm.
Uh, if you go into some place, and you may have, I don't know, you might have some stuff that you're walking around evaluating, but if you figure a deer's head is what 3.5 feet off the ground, maybe,
Kind of
and
like you.
whatever. And if the browse line's at like 6 feet, 7 feet tall, if they have to if they have to stand on their rear legs to eat something,
Hmm.
that's green, that's not a good idea.
No, definitely not.
And
I
they're not. They might be in there eating pine needles or rhododendron or something like that,
say
but
rhododendron really fast 3 times.
I'm not going to. And that will, yeah, they will eat that stuff, but it's not preferred food. If
Hmm.
that's what you're relying on, it's not great.
Yeah, I went to a, a specific client 2 years ago, and it was right in like Bedford. It was Bedford area, PA, and their property, a big chunk of it was just, I mean, it was no food whatsoever. And I told him that their best bet was he wanted to hire me to cut. I was like, dude, y- it's too much. Like, you got to get a company in there. You got to get rid of some of these trees, make a little money off of it, but you'll still have the wildlife effect for it. And he texted me this summer and said that area that had no food was so so much food in there that, I mean, there was all kinds of stuff. He didn't know what it was growing, but every time that he rode, because the road was kind of up higher, so you can kind of see down in there. And he said there was always deer down there, always, eating browse down there. It was so thick and attracted so many more deer. But it's just a step that I find that people don't want to take. They don't want to cut their trees.
Yeah.
But if you have that continuous issue of just zero food, it's going to be a hard time to make up for it if you're just planting food plots. You know, it's depending on the size that you plant and stuff. But don't be afraid of the trees, guys. I mean, you got to get somebody in there that knows what they're doing. But it's just one thing that people don't want to do. They don't want to cut their trees.
Yeah, I struggled with that down here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that much property to begin with, and here I am cutting down my trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not getting any younger,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm growing older faster than the trees are growing bigger. So I thought, what's the use? They're not straight and marketable for timber, you know, and I thought if I get rid of some of them, I would rather enjoy my food plots while I can still get around and hunt
Mm-hmm.
than be sitting up at the house in a rocking chair at 90 saying, "Oh, I wish I could get down there and hunt now. It looks really good."
Kind of like what I did to you to get you hunting out of state.
What?
Instead of being in a rocking chair at 90, rocking back and forth. Man, I really should have listened to that guy Dave Richmond and just hunted out of state. And you can't hunt no more. And now here you are. You've hunted two
I'm a
different states.
worldwide hunter.
You hunted two states in 2023.
Three
And not
states,
only
man,
that,
PA included.
not only that, you probably shot a Sika buck that's going to make it into the record books. Maybe.
Yeah, it should make it. It should make it.
See, you listened and you shot a buck,
Just how it
a Sika.
worked out.
Yeah, Sika, not Sika, Sika.
Sika. Yeah, it worked
Um,
out.
but yeah, so you won't be rocking when you're 90 now, saying, "Dang, I should have hunted out of state."
I'll be down there rocking a bow, shooting them.
Hmm.
But anyhow, moving on to something else. Why another way to evaluate is first of all, like we said entrance and exits. Got to have good way in and out without bumping all your deer around. You got to see what kind of food they've got. But I've also like to scout their entrance and exits into the spot that you so enjoy hunting.
Hmm.
Where are they coming from? Okay, are they coming off the neighbor's property? Is there bedding over there? Um, go like Dave said. Right now is a good time to go out and take a walk in the woods, especially like right after a snow. That's a great
Hmm.
time to check it out and see where they're running around, what their routes are. And
Hmm.
I know some of that changes from season to season, but season's still in right now, and you want to see where they're moving right now. Maybe you can have a plan for next year to hunt an area. You might find the golden funnel or something. Who knows?
Hmm.
You check for funnels and ridges, and get your saddles and benches and draws and all that stuff. Look for water supply, not necessarily running fresh water, because if you've noticed, deer don't like to bend down and drink from running fresh water. They like some old stagnant mud puddle. I don't know why that is, but
Hmm.
check for water supplies.
Well,
What else?
something that I
What
can
else you got?
well, something I can add to that quickly is, you mentioned scouting and looking for where the deer are entering and exit your property. 100%. What I would add to that um, is that say they're entering and exiting a spot that you can't really get to, or it's by a neighbor's taking advantage of that or something. You can cut a tree down and block some trails off to make them enter and exit a different spot in order for them to kind of pass by an easier spot for you to get a tree stand and to hunt.
Well, that's kind of the beauty of making sunlight too. I mean,
Hmm.
you can take some of those cuttings and pile them up somewhere
Mhm.
strategically.
Yeah.
I mean, there is strategic things you can do.
Mhm.
Look at the old property that we went over and we cleared like a whole acre out with a skid steer.
Mhm.
Like we didn't just push that crap up against the edge of the woods
Mm-mm.
because that would impede their
That's
entrance
where
and
they
exit into the fields, the
that's where they came in.
infiltration. Yeah. So we took that stuff all to a spot like we never seen a deer enter by, and we piled it all up in one big giant pile and just left it rot,
Mhm.
and
Well, a lot of it
it didn't block off anything.
no, a lot of it well, we moved it to the opposite side of the field because we were primarily hunting that side
Yeah.
and expecting them to come out of the big woods from the other side. So we moved all that garbage to the other side, and we remember we piled a bunch of it up in front of the Sad Daddy blind.
Hmm. Yeah.
To that way
Yeah.
we could come in from the backside and climb
Yeah,
up.
we actually used it as screening. You can do
Mhm.
that. I mean, you can strategically do things.
Yeah, and that's something that people can work on too is
Brushed in a blind, basically, with some of the garbage.
yeah, you can brush it in. Well, a lot of times I'll go to clients and stuff that, they just, have a quarter acre food plot they cleared out in the woods, but it's all barricaded by all the brush they took out.
Yeah, they pushed it all up against a
Yeah,
woods line.
right. And they done blocked all the entrances off
Yeah,
for the deer.
yeah. How are they
Um,
getting in here?
right. Well, how are they getting in and how are they going to feel when they're in there? Are they going to feel,
Yeah, are
closed
they going to
in
feel
or
trapped or
right?
comfortable?
Right. So that's something you can work on too is,
They want in a good.
just
They want a nice, clear escape route.
right. Rent a skid steer with some forks or something and or a bucket or whatever and get rid of push it into a pile and just burn it.
Yeah,
Let that stuff burn into your
free
and
potash.
yeah, free potash, let it burn into your soil. But yeah, I mean there's all like you said, always something to work on. But those are definitely some things. I would say too, now is kind of adding into that as well is your food value as far as browse a little bit deeper is is it that you just don't have any at all because it's a closed canopy, you have no sun, or is it stubbed out of the ground 2 inches because they ate it all down? And take some trail camera surveys on your property too. Put this time of year, December, January, February, put those trail cameras on pines. If you have pines or conifers and they have pine needles, see if the deer are eating those pine needles because at the old farm, you remember they were eating pine needles. So look at it. If they're eating pine needles, they're hungry, man. Like you got to get more food in there, whether it's through food plots or just getting cuttings. But take a survey on your trail cameras. What are the deer eating on your property now, and then decide what's missing. Do you have should you plant more food? Do you need more sun? Do you have to get a timber company in there? Do you have to hire somebody, a consultant to cut for you? Do you have to eliminate some of the deer? Because realize that if you're the only one in the area making improvements to your property, you're going to attract a heck of a lot more deer. And therefore, your food value has to be higher because they're going to wipe you out, especially in those big wood settings. Because again, reference the old farm, we were the only ones doing stuff.
Yeah,
And those food plots, we attracted all the deer to those plots from all the neighboring properties. And we needed a high volume of food. I mean, yeah, we did plant brassicas and we had some perennial clover, but majority of it we threw in winter wheat and a little bit of rye because those grains kept up with your browse pressure.
right.
Um, but I mean, you can evaluate your food plots too. This time of year, are the food plots down to the dirt? Well, sometimes they probably will be. Um, but is that because you have too many deer? Like you have to look at this as a whole and realize, okay, well, I planted brassicas on my farm this year. I'm just saying in general. Somebody plants brassicas. You look at it now, there's zero food. Well, maybe you should have added some grains in there. Grains, deer wipe out a grain plot, winter wheat plot. There's something wrong. Like you, you know what I mean? You got way too many deer or something. But evaluate your food plots.
Yeah, that stuff grows like grass. I mean,
Hmm.
it's hard to eliminate a field full of grass, but
Hmm.
if they can chew it down to lip high and keep it mowed off, yeah,
Yeah.
you got some hungry critters
Yes. Very
for
hungry.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, this goes along the lines of looking for new property. One of the things I like to look at is if you find old tree stands and things on that property.
Hmm.
That helps you with your scouting a little bit, because obviously somebody knew something, and they may have put a stand there, and maybe they know a good route there that you can capitalize on. Now, when we
Hmm.
went into that property, we tore down a bunch of old stuff just in case anybody would trespass. They were rickety, and we didn't want someone trying to climb in those things getting hurt. And here we are, leasing the property. Of course, that would probably fall back on a property owner, I'm sure,
Yeah.
somehow, as far as somebody suing. But we didn't want to go down that route, so we just tore that garbage down and burned it. Um, yeah, finding old stands, things on the property. How about who had the property before you? What did they do with it? Um, how close it is to neighbors' properties? Um, do your neighbors post? Was this property that you're looking at? What is it posted, or was it posted before you? Those type of things. Um, there might be a history of trespassing in there or something you don't know about. Maybe you can talk to some of the neighbors. Um, I mean, there's so many avenues you need to check out.
I am the world's most trespasser solving person there is.
No, you're not.
Yes, I've had more trespassing issues than anybody I know.
That's why you're not a solver.
I
You're
it's
the,
solved.
you're
It
you're the
happens.
you
It
were the
happens,
biggest
but then
doormat
right.
because
It
everybody was
happens.
trying to get in there.
Right. It happens, but then I solve it. I had issues on the new property we leased it last year.
Right.
We had issues. I mean, it so many issues where it led me down into a police station again. But you know what? This year, not a single problem.
Yeah.
Zero, none. So, but that is something to look for and be cautious of because it happens a lot and it's
Yeah.
very, very annoying.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and if it happens to be a uh, a person that's also trespassing on their properties,
mhm,
they might be really willing to give them up. As in our case, with us tracking down that one fella
mhm.
and had the police pay him a visit.
Yes, he did,
So, you know,
and it came
that
to a stop.
that slows a lot of things down quickly.
Mhm.
Um,
One thing I'll add too is looking for new property is access. I mean, you gotta have access. If you only have one side of your farm to access, it's very difficult. And I'll be honest, that's one of the reasons why I'm getting rid of my property that I have now because there's only one way in and one way out.
yeah,
Um, there's a yeah. If it, ideally you want access on two sides of the property, but if you can get access on three, that would be even better. Like if there's a road where you can cut into the woods instead of walking one way in, walking through your property, get to the backside, have access on the front, have access on the back. I mean, it's hard to do
yeah,
because when you start getting into those types of situations, the cost of the lease goes up and up and up and up because there's access, ag areas lease for more for big wooded areas. So access is key for that.
that's
Instead of
why I am more of an evening sitter,
mhm,
because I don't have good access to properties I'm on, or I'm
right.
on public land where I have to park somewhere in a parking area or a road and
Mhm,
walk in. Yeah, it's hard to go in to some place like that because you're gonna blow everything out in the mornings, and
mhm,
yeah, it just works out for me to be a better more evening sitter.
mhm.
I'm usually working anyhow during the days.
Yeah, morning times hunts are a lot of times, depending on the property, it's a lot of them. Mornings are hard to get in. If you're walking through ag fields where the deer are in there, it's hard to hunt mornings sometimes. A lot of times it's easier. It's easier to get into the evenings, but then it also becomes hard to get
It
out in the
it is
evenings
hard at times. I look at this
because
year.
Yeah.
Before time change, I was sitting in a tree. You were texting me, and I'm still in a tree at almost 9 p.m.
Hmm.
And my wife's texting me, "Hey, dinner's ready." And I'm like, I got 4 bucks standing in front of me. I can't get out of this tree. I'm
Right.
locked up,
Yeah. And
So,
that's what it takes sometimes. You gotta let them. You gotta. Sometimes you might have to sit there.
oh, I did
You know.
a
I
couple
mean,
weeks on end.
look what we did at the old farm. We had, because we were hunting the destination area. Those deer kind of stayed in there, and we were. I mean, we blew coyote calls and stuff to get them out of there. But
Well, then
that's something that
we
you have to
we
deal
cut a
with.
trail. We cut a trail out the back door of our tree stands. I say out the back door. We would climb down because we're on the edge of a field. We'd climb down and we'd go deeper into the woods and go
Hmm.
around the destination plots and
Yep.
hit a tram road and get out. You
Yep.
know, I
Because
mean,
those deer were in there, and
they were they were already
that's
in the fields.
that's where they want to be. And that's something to look at too on your property. Is the bigger those food plots are, the more of a destination field they become. If Most times, if you're in a big woods area, because there's nothing else around, the bigger your food plot is, those deer are going to hover around that food plot. Now, if you're in ag areas and stuff, um, those ag fields will become more of your destination, and you could have a smaller plot where they kind of they bed, hit your food plot, and then they go out to the destination field, whether it's beans or alfalfa, corn fields, or wherever they want to be um, at nighttime. So that's something to look at too, and to work on your access routes. Like you
Hmm.
said, we made that trail. Well, the trail was already there. It was an old uh,
We just need to
logging
clean.
road.
We need to clean it up.
We cleaned it up. We moved the branches out the way, and we did have a skid steer too. That we remember we went back in there. We
We
smoothed
went
it
back in.
out, and
Yeah,
we cleaned it up a little bit. But that's something you can work on. And every time we mention skid steer, I always get somebody that message us says, "I can't rent a skid steer. They're too much money." But it's really not. Like, I know it's going to vary state to state, but where me and you was at Central PA,
hmm,
or what was it, Clearfield.
hmm.
It was what? It was
Central.
275 a
Yeah,
day
250,
delivered,
275 delivered and
cheap,
picked up. Yep,
and picked up. I mean, you
yep,
had to pay for gas. I mean, whatever, you had to put gas back in it, but 300 and 300 bucks, $320,
yep.
you have a skid steer for 8 hours. It goes by 8 hours.
Mm.
So, um, that's cheap. Like, you can do a lot.
You
Like,
could do a lot.
we cleared that acre food plot out.
I did not think those trees were going to pop out of the ground as easy as
No,
they
yeah.
did.
Hmm.
I was really surprised they popped out like they did.
All we did, guys, if you're leery about that or something, or don't think you can do it, we have a video. I think it's on both our channels.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, big pine trees and stuff. We just lifted that bucket up, put the bucket straight in, and just pushed it, and we uprooted every single tree out of that plot with a
we didn't
skid
dig
steer.
any stumps.
Nope, they just ripped right out.
They just
And
came right over. Now we did it in what? April?
it was no, it was in May. It was
April 1st of May.
early May
Yeah,
because
early May.
we got caught in a snowstorm.
Yeah, we were still getting spit and snow and
Yeah.
freezing weather and
Yep.
stuff.
But yeah, it was early May. But the ground was, it was soft.
Yeah, it's soft.
But we cleared that acre food plot out. I'm talking ripping the trees out, smoothing it out and everything in under 5 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even need the whole day with the skid
No,
steer really. We packed
we
up and
end
left.
no, we ended up going up. We cleared that road up a little bit.
But I mean, we ended up leaving. We didn't stay till dark.
No, 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 no. We
We didn't use it the
after
whole day.
No, we even had time. We cleaned the road up a little bit, and then we called them, and they came and picked it up.
Mhm.
Um, so it's pretty cheap, and that's all stuff you can work on. That obviously, state to state, you're going to have snow, and you got this, and you got that, but just something to consider.
Yeah.
Stuff to work on. Um,
What else we got? We talked about entrance, exits, deer trails, bedding,
mhm. I would say the
getting
biggest thing this time
sunlight.
of year is to evaluate your timber. People are scared about their trees. They're scared about the timber. You got to have it evaluated. You know, have somebody in there, you know, that can evaluate it for you, whether it's a um, a forester company, a company that comes in there. Um, but you got to be careful with them too, because they're gonna rob you blind a lot of
For
times.
sure.
So you got to be careful. You got to have
For
you want to
sure.
keep some trees, but most times I don't really uh, like clear cuts. I'd rather have like a select cut or something. But just evaluate it. Don't be scared of the timber. It's going to help your deer hunting tremendously. You can't be scared to cut it or get somebody in there to cut it for you. Um, it's
And
one.
if you're gonna clear a spot for a plot somewhere in the woods and you're gonna have a little bit of a
Hmm.
clearing,
Hmm.
lime, lime, lime. Make sure you can get lime to wherever you're going.
Hmm.
And
Yeah,
it's you can put that on any time of the year.
yeah, and
Don't skip your soil tests.
yeah, with the forester there, I mean, they're going to make roads, so have them make a road,
Yeah.
around your property.
Yeah, they're
Work
gonna
with
have a
them.
machine there already, so
Yep.
let them
Work with.
blast you in
Yep.
a
Work with
good
them.
entrance.
Yep.
So,
Tell them where you want the entry and exit routes or the roads. Tell them to make a road around the whole perimeter. I mean, if you work with them, they'll work with you. So
yeah.
look at it as a whole. If you got a drone, take it up, take some pictures, aerial photos, look at it on a map, and just look at that thing and be like, okay, what is going on? What what didn't work out good this year? Think of all the things we discussed and how can we improve it.
Yeah.
So that pretty much sums it up.
I think so. I think we covered about all the bases there
Yeah, and you guys got any questions? I mean, you can reach out to us and we'll point you in the right direction.
for sure. Check out those videos.
Hmm.
Like I said, too, the uh 1,000 subscriber giveaways coming up really quick on us here. I need a little over 30 people to come on and subscribe, and I will be having the knife in my hands pretty soon that I'll be giving away. It's a Kershaw knife that's going to be
Hmm.
engraved with the channel name on it. So be subscribing to the channel. Be watching or listening, I'm sorry, on the audio side with all the different platforms you can listen to. And I want to wish everybody a happy new year. And yeah, check out those videos if you have any questions on how to clear your plot with a skid steer or you know, how to further evaluate your properties. We have many videos.
Hmm.
I don't know how
Now
many you're up to now. I got like 400 videos or something now.
730 some.
Yeah. But
Um,
probably only 100 or 200 of them are probably over at the farm that we used to work together.
mhm.
But there's a lot of videos on us plotting, doing projects in the woods, all that type of thing.
Yep. Also
Check,
throw in there too that I posted on my social media yesterday, I think. But if anybody's reaching out to me for consulting, um, very, very limited, if any at all, unless something gets canceled, rescheduled, something. But for anything for 2024, like it's very, very limited. So I'm now taking spots for 2025. I'd blown away this year for the amount of people that reached out. But if you want something in the months of January, February, March, April, May, still reach out to me. If something cancels, I might be able to fit you in somewhere in there. But majority of people that call now are going, they'll be going straight to 2025. So happy New Year, guys.
See you on next week's.
Later.